Peace, family. Confusion really drains the mind. It really puts you in a state of indecisiveness, which is like a form of stagnation. And specifically speaking to my brothers, men, us wanting to be leaders and needing to be leaders of our home, of our family, I think it's really imperative that we start understanding what is causing that stagnation, what is causing us to feel conflicted or trapped or unmotivated, because these things translate into how our family is perceiving what we're doing or how they're able to grasp what we're doing and or grasp our leadership, right? You know, they may start to question because they're wondering what's going on, or why isn't the man in the house moving? Your leadership in your business, same thing, you know. And then we can try to substitute real leadership for just making decisions that don't make sense, because we just want to make sure that we're being, you know, we're being active. And I think it's a point where you got to stop and be okay and be comfortable in silence and stillness in order to really understand and really take a minute to figure out what's the best step forward, and let that not be a reflection on your value as a man, as a leader, as a human being. Don't let that be a reflection on your value. That shouldn't take away from who you are. That actually should say something bigger about you, that you're willing to stop and forsake movement for clarity. Forsake movement for clarity, right? Let's stop moving sometimes and let's get clear on what it is. Let's understand that maybe the reason why we're not making a decision is because we're not confident in that specific space or in that environment or in that specific circumstance, right? And let's say, okay, well, then why am I not confident? What do I need to do? What do I need to learn? What do I need to experience? What is it that I need to have in order to feel that confidence to be able to move through these areas? Because it's important, because sometimes we'll just make a move and, you know, we'll say, all right, we're going to push forward with something, and then have regrets later because we rushed it, or we forced something. We tried to force a circle in a square, right? And we got to respect processes. We got to respect stillness. We got to respect sequence. We got to respect those things, because those things are the cornerstone of decision making. And most importantly for me, something I've been learning, and I've probably noticed it a while now, is that confidence, supreme confidence. And I'm gonna say this to my dads, because I know that we're always looking for ways to make our young men and our daughters stronger, more resilient, and more prepared for the world we're about to send them out into, whether they're younger or in the teenage years, either one. What I would say, based on the studies that I have read and based on just the research that I've been doing within, one of the main things that I'm seeing is missing is confidence, a supreme confidence. Because, and this is for our children that we're trying to pass this on to, we get stuck into thinking that our children, when we just tell them, hey, you could do anything, you know, you're amazing, you're this, you're that, that's not truly giving them real confidence, because confidence comes from experience and knowledge and wisdom and doing things. It doesn't just come from you talking. So us giving them the affirmations is cool, and it has its place and its value, but it doesn't substitute real world experience. And the experience has to come from them, not a prefabricated experience that we created for them to win. No, it has to come from real challenges that they say to themselves, wow, you know, I had to go through this to get to this point. So what I found is teaching my children critical thinking skills has been a game changer, right? Problem solving skills. They need to understand that they have the ability to solve a problem, because that's what gives them true confidence in that moment, is knowing that, hey, I figured this out. I am smart enough, resilient enough, and have enough access to information that I can figure this out. So if my child asks me something, how do I do this? Let's try to figure it out. And I let them lead. I let them lead because I want them to figure it out. I don't want to have to give them the answer. They may ask me questions, Dad, I'm really confused on that. Well, did you try to figure out where the answer is at? Because we know for a fact that there's an answer. Did you try to figure out where the answer can come from? Did you look up? Did you go online? Did you read the book? Did you go back to a textbook? Did you go back to the story? Did you do, what is it that you have to look for? There are resources all around us. Like, there are resources everywhere. And for us to ignore those resources we're disadvantaging them. And I know every parent wants to raise a amazing child. So we're not even we don't even have to reiterate that or even really put any emphasis on that. All of us want to raise a great child, but all of us don't know how. All of us don't know how, because it's a science to it. There's a reason why certain children are successful, and there's a reason why some aren't. There's a reason why some reach mediocre levels, and there's a reason why some of them reach higher heights. And when we begin to dig a little bit deeper and figure out what that is and why that is, I think that those begin to unlock the questions that we're asking now, which is, for myself, one, how do I overcome indecisiveness, confusion, and just a chaos of thoughts? What needs to happen or what needs to be true in order for me to overcome that stagnation? And for one, it's an awareness that maybe it's not stagnation, maybe it's just a lack of information. Maybe it's a overwhelming environmental force or environmental circumstances that's happening around you that's causing you to not be able to take your time, slow it down, and really process everything. Maybe you're overwhelmed as a man, as a woman, as a parent, as a leader, as a business owner. Maybe you're overwhelmed and you need to take a step back and remove yourself for a minute. That's a possibility. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with taking a step back. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's important that we do it, because the consequences can far outweigh what we think are the perceived benefits of moving fast. Now, I know success loves speed. I understand that. But I think speed in the right direction, because speed in the wrong direction just puts you further away from your goal. So how is that beneficial, right? How can that help? It doesn't. So we need to reassess what we think is the answer to these situations. We need to reassess what we feel is the best methodology to begin to teach our children. And again, I would suggest that anyone, look this up on their own, but critical thinking, deductive reasoning, problem-solving skills, those three things, if you can teach your child that, will exponentially increase their probability of being super successful in whatever. And successful, to me, it may be different from successful to you, may be different from success to Jeff Bezos, right? But when we define success, for me, success is knowing that my child is doing something that's making them happy, rewarding, spiritually rewarding, fulfilling their mind, and identifying and helping them in their purpose and to bring about their purpose to the world, to serve humanity, to better humanity in some way or another. And it may not seem that we need those skills to do that, but I can promise you that we do, because problem solving is it's the way that the world has evolved. We've solved the problem every single time, and that's what's allowed the world to evolve to what we now see it to be today. So this is a critical skill. So family, I just say, go out, research that, and look for that. Again, I thank you for tapping into another episode of Sins of the Father. I'm your host, Ani L. And I really appreciate you. I ask you to please like, share, and subscribe. Ask your friend, send this to a friend that you know may need as a parent, a business leader, whoever that is. Send it to them. Let them see. Let them hear something that maybe spark some interest or spark some type of inspiration for them to do something different. to help their family, to help themselves in business, to grow, to scale, because we all can use a hand up. We all can. If anybody tells you they got it all figured out, they so far behind that they don't even know that they're behind. They think they're in the front. It's like that person that gets lapped in a race and everybody's behind them, but they think they're in the front, but really they're in last place. Right? It's like they running their heart out, but they don't know they're in the back. Somehow they forgot that everybody has already ran around the track one time and is now behind them, coming up on them again and about to lap them again, because they thinking they have the right answer. They thinking they can do it alone without knowledge of the people around them, without everything around them feeding them information. Let's not be that way. Let's not live in ignorance. Let's live in knowledge. This is the world. This is the time of information. Everything's available to us. It's time for us to tap in. You know, I appreciate y'all. Love, always love, light. Again, thank you for tapping into another episode of Sins of the Father. I'm your host, Ani I Am. There's another, if you have any comments, anything you could think of that to add to that, to point me in the right direction, to do more research, anything, I ask you to please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's something you can add on. Let me know if there's a topic that I could talk about that would help you or help somebody you know. Then I'll do the research. You just sit back and enjoy it. Peace, family. Love. Have a great one.